Marvel just did something that has me genuinely surprised, and I think a lot of fans didn't even notice it at first. They quietly canceled one of their upcoming movies that was supposed to release on July 23rd, 2027. And the craziest part? This wasn't just some random spin-off or side character project. Based on everything I have been tracking, this movie was probably meant to be one of the very first projects after Avengers, Secret Wars, and maybe even the film that was going to kick off the entire next era of the MCU, what I think of as the mutant saga. But now, that movie is gone. Disney gave the release slot away to a brand new Simpsons movie. No big announcement, no dramatic press release from Marvel, just gone, quietly erased from the calendar. I want to dive deep into what this actually means, because this isn't just about a single movie disappearing. This reflects a massive strategy shift at Marvel. And if you've been paying attention to the last couple of years, it lines up perfectly with how Kevin Feige and the studio have been rethinking their approach. So today, I'm going to break down what movie I think was canceled, why Disney made this move, how it ties into the upcoming Doctor Strange 3 and the Avengers rewrites, and what this means for projects like Silver Surfer, Shang-Chi 2, and even the long-awaited Nova series. Plus, I'll go over what's actually still moving forward, because thankfully not everything is in limbo. But first, welcome back to Hollywood Latest News. I'm your host, Luke Harrison. If you're new here, this is the channel where I break down the biggest stories coming out of Hollywood, from behind-the-scenes shakeups to the craziest Marvel and DC updates. If you're someone who loves theory videos, breakdowns, and trying to figure out where these cinematic universes are headed, you're in the right place. All right, let's get into it. So, the canceled movie. On the release calendar, Marvel had a slot reserved for July 23rd, 2027. That would have placed it just after Avengers, Secret Wars, which, as of now, is still slated for May 2027. Whenever Marvel places a movie so close after one of their big team-up films, it's usually something transitional. Think about Spider-Man, Far From Home after Endgame. It wasn't another massive Avengers-level threat, but it helped set the stage for the next chapter. That's why I think this canceled movie might have been designed as a bridge into Phase 7. It could have been our very first look at how Marvel was going to launch mutants into the MCU. Instead, Disney shifted that date over to a new Simpsons movie. And look, that doesn't mean the project is gone forever. But it does show Marvel is scaling back. They're being way more cautious now, and I honestly think that's the right move. For years, Marvel was pumping out content at a pace that even die-hard fans struggled to keep up with. 4 movies a year, multiple Disney Plus shows, and tie-ins everywhere. But now, they're openly saying less is more. The strategy is pretty clear. Marvel wants to prioritize quality over quantity. Rather than drowning fans in non-stop releases, they're spacing things out, giving projects more time to develop, and making sure each story feels big, important, and polished. This is all part of a reset, not just a soft reboot in terms of storytelling, but a reset in terms of how they operate. We're heading into an era where the focus will shift away from overstuffed multiverse cameos and back toward the mutants, the X-Men, and a brand new generation of characters. And here's where things get even more interesting. Doctor Strange 3 was originally meant to serve as the setup for the final incursions, basically the lead-in to Secret Wars. But plans have shifted dramatically. We know Marvel scrapped Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and replaced it with Avengers, Doomsday. That change alone reshaped everything. From what I've been hearing, Strange's role has been dialed back in the newer scripts. He was supposed to be one of the central characters, guiding us toward the ultimate multiverse collapse. But now, it feels like Marvel wants to pivot, maybe putting more weight on characters like the Fantastic Four, or even the mutants as they arrive. This isn't just happening to Doctor Strange, though. A lot of projects have been delayed, retooled, or outright canceled. Silver Surfer was supposed to be a cosmic showpiece, tying directly into the Fantastic Four. Armor Wars, which at one point was going to be a Disney Plus series before turning into a movie, is still in limbo. Shang-Chi 2 has been pushed back, Thor 5 is up in the air, Ravagers and Excalibur are practically forgotten, and several Black Panther spin-offs that were being brainstormed after Wakanda Forever have been quietly shelved. And then there's Nova. This one really stings because fans have been waiting for Nova for years. At one point, there were rumors Henry Cavill might play Annihilus, which would have been wild, but the entire project has been delayed indefinitely. Then we've got Young Avengers, which was rebranded as Champions and has also been postponed. So you can see the pattern here. Marvel is pulling back, trimming projects, and rethinking the roadmap. But before I make this sound all doom and gloom, there is good news. Certain things are still moving forward. Daredevil, Born Again is confirmed, and not only that, Marvel is treating it as a continuation of the Netflix series. So in essence, we're getting Daredevil Season 3, just under the Marvel Studios banner. That opens the door for other characters to return too. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Elektra, and maybe even Chloe Bennett's Quake. It's like Marvel is using this moment to bring back beloved characters who fans actually want. instead of overloading us with brand new faces we're not connected to yet. We've also got Marvel Zombies, still in development, which is a fun side project, and Midnight Suns, which I think could become the MCU's answer to something darker and more supernatural, especially with Blade in the mix. Those projects show Marvel isn't abandoning experimentation. They're just being smarter about where they put their resources. So when I step back and look at the canceled 2027 slot, I don't see it as a disaster. I see it as Marvel admitting they can't afford to overload themselves anymore. The Multiverse saga has been a wild ride, but it's also been messy. There have been highs like No Way Home and Loki, but also lows like Quantumania. Now Marvel is consolidating, cutting back, and setting themselves up to launch something more focused. The mutants, the X-Men, and the mutant saga, that's the future. And if this canceled movie was indeed meant to launch that saga, maybe it's for the best that Marvel gives it more time. Better to wait until the story is fully ready than to rush out a half-baked introduction to the X-Men. Because if they nail that, if they get the tone and direction right, the MCU can easily find a second wind and run for another decade strong. So that's my breakdown of the cancellation, what it means, and how it ties into Marvel's larger game plan. I know it's frustrating to lose projects we've been hyped for, but in the big picture, I think this reset could be exactly what Marvel needs to recapture that magic. Thanks so much for watching today's video here on Hollywood Latest News. I'm Luke Harrison, and I really appreciate you spending time with me breaking this down. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, share it with your fellow Marvel fans, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss future breakdowns. And if you'd like to directly support the channel and the work we do here, please consider using the Super Thanks feature. Anything up to $20 makes a huge difference and helps us keep diving into these stories. I'll see you in the next one.